and one. The music sense. The music sense. The music sense. Just. The movie club movies. Tonight's feature. Game Night 2018. Starring Jason Bateman, we know from Horrible Bosses, Sweetest Thing, Starsky and Hutch, Dodgeball, Smokin' Aces, Hancock, Extract, The Switch, Change Up with Deadpool, ID Thief, Identity Thief, The Giffy, Central Intelligence, The Office Christmas Party, Thunder Force, Ozark, and Air. RachelMcAdams, I know from the Lonely Island song Lazy Sunday. McAdams loves Gosling. KyleChandler from King Kong 05. His daughter is in Don't Worry Darling. Chelsea Peretti, one of the greats, and Kroll Show. Jeffrey Wright, one of the greats. Just kidding. He is one of the greats. I love him in the movie Basquiat, and I committed to the maze of a show. He did a wonderful job with Ed Harris in Westworld. Jeffrey Wright is very prolific and it is in movies that were currently out when I was writing this. So he's definitely still working out there. This movie is directed by John Francis Daley. He played high school freshman Sam Weir in the NBC comedy drama Freaks and Geeks. I think there are a bunch of listeners that are going to enjoy that show and probably are fans of that show. Jonathan Goldstein, who also directed the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves that came out after this movie and is recent. Is probably a year or two old. Definitely by the time you're listening to this, several years old by now, but is a recent comedy hit. Also written along with MarkPerez, and I have a Letterboxd list of the director's previous work. There are a few notable doozies, a few baffling projects, and a few incredible projects, as well as a handful of creepers. But I can give us all an idea of success of these creators in the comedy genre and the sturdiness of their to-do list, making all the peak comedy-ish movies options. And that's, I'm again highlighting that they're recent releases, that there are some doozies and some wonderful pieces. So let me read you those. Predator with Arnold, October Sky with Gyllenhaal, Anywhere But Here with Sarandon and Portman, Wonder Boys with Michael Douglas, Rush Hour 2 with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, a TMCMS legend, HD TGM legend, The Country Bears, Frank McCluskey, CI, Red Dragon, Herbie Fully Loaded with Lindsay Lohan, Transporter 2 with Jason Statham, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, Jason Bateman and Natalie Portman, April Fool's Day, The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, which is a comedy with Steve Carell, Steve Buscemi, TMCMS favorite Olivia Wilde, and Jim Carrey, The Other Woman with Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann, Horrible Bosses 2, and Jason Bateman, and I'm sure maybe some gaffers worked on the Horrible Bosses series. I really like that series. Unfortunately, it's produced by some awful people. It's a fun movie, and I've had some bad bosses. I don't mind watching a movie about taking back in a comical way. A movie I have no interest in, Vacation. Follow along with me. This is just an incredible list. Family Fang, Independence Day, Resurgence, Masterminds with Zach Galifianakis, Kate McKinnon, Keeping Up with the Joneses, Black Panther, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Night School, Blockers, Marriage Story, Shaft from 2019, Stuber, Cop Shop, Black Adam, Ghosted, and like I mentioned before, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves, which is one of the more successful movies out of here, and Black Panther is on this list. These are the collected works of the producers and writer directors and all of this. I just wanted to see all that together because I'm unfamiliar with these names, but I wondered, even among the movies Horrible Bosses, how is this collection of creators put together? And I think it's from these past successes. Like I said, it's up to you what you like on that list, if any of them. I like a few. You've heard me mention a few on other episodes. If you're still with us, along with our main leads, we have a pretty sturdy movie here, and I am surprised I liked it. I was too busy at the time to notice it and watch it. It was another discovery past 2020, and like when it came out, I wasn't able to just go out and watch it, and when it became distributed, I wasn't able to rent it or what have you, and didn't need to. I was very busy until the pandemic, and I was a movie watcher. Goes without saying, but in 2020 and just post 2020, I was awarded the time to just sit and watch movies, and I did a lot of art in my past experiences with movies. I would be doing my art homework or my art work, and that has only been strengthened with what I think is a healthy habit, but it is a habit of watching crazy movies, silly movies. And I think it has been a perfect temporary remedy, and I'm mentioning this in the context of 2020 pandemic. Hey, but let's continue with some of the cast. Gary is played by Kirsten Dunst's husband, JessePlemons. I'm not too familiar with all of what he's done. I'm going to throw out that I know him from The Master and The Post, and I'm sure my listeners have their favorites. Throw them in the comments because I'm still learning about this actor. There are some crossovers, and I would assume this core group is meeting on some of these prior sets and forming creative bonds for future work and productions. Be sure to make those connections on your own. TMCMS at Letterboxd. You can always check out my playlists on there of what directly we're selecting on the TMCMS podcast playlist. And then also, I've got lists about this research, and it's just called the episode reference list. If you care to follow along with TMCMS in social media and Letterboxd. I still have some more cast. My notes are packed already at the beginning of this. A few more cast. Sarah is played by SharonHorgan. She is an Irish actress. Kevin, who is my favorite character in this movie, is played by LamorneMorris. He is in TV series New Girl. He is in a new movie called Night Shift, and that is directed by Phoebe Tonkin. Okay, Michelle, his wife in this movie, is played by Kylie Bunbury, and Ryan, who is played by Billy Magnuson, and that's his real hair. Gerhardt is taking notes. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I will be running down this entire movie, and we may put a few things together before the ending of the movie. If you missed this one, it's worth a watch, and if you want to experience with the pod, come on, let's go. Roll the dice, bobble the bobble, scramble the scrabbles. It's Game Night 2018. Press play. We begin on one of the most on-point meet-cutes in cinema history, since before Chaplin met Mabel Normand. Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams are first on rival pub trivia teams with a central friend character that is basically missing out on single McAdams. Nor would they potentially work out, however, Bateman is strategically buying drinks and answering before he's supposed to. The director of the movie is getting frustrated. Rach and Bate sort of meet at the same answer, and we go from there, her more games and winning against each other. Jason and Rachel McAdams and Bateman and the friend we don't see again sort of get lost in their shuffle, and they get married, playing Dance Dance Evolution, which we may have also seen in the movie Lost in Translation. This movie is the prequel to The Wizard, not The Wiz. And then we find our couple at a health clinic, an upscale doctor's office with skylights and windows. I've never seen such a place, and never in a medical facility. But it is for Max's fertility checkup, and he is not doing well. They are trying for a child. It is swiftly and sort of insensitively stated that his brother has intimidated him, and there is a history of him sort of remaining life lacking. Not a lot of exciting, confident choices, and seeming to be bullied for years by an indignant older brother. I have an older brother, and he does not match that description. So I'm just experiencing these two characters within this movie and using experiences from other movies. Maybe I've met people like this in the real world, but I don't live with a brother or sibling that treats me or any of us this way. And usually all of my friends' siblings are either invisible, or I don't know of anybody who is a weird science level awful sibling. And thankfully, that's a great reference. Weird Science has one of the worst brothers in cinema history, although we're going to meet Brooks. Brooks is not as bad as Weird Science brother, not at all. Different ballpark. One's a hockey player and one's a American baseball player in terms of comparison and description. Off on a tangent already. Let's bring it back. I theorize this is a terrible written focus of the movie where the brother does contribute to needless stress in his young brother's life, as well as being oblivious to the point of his brother is surprised by his love. His brother loves him in a way that is like, you take all my shit, you make me feel better about myself by putting you down. I love you for that. Nope. It's contradictory, but I don't know, in a movie trope poetic way. Movie trope poetry corner with JustinJustin. We head back to their suburban cozy cul-de-sac, which does remind me of Keeping Up with the Joneses. Walking up to their house, very nice, modest, standard suburban houses. I think the house color is blue, like lark blue. Max has a bag of groceries, and what we know as the audience is that their friends are coming over for a game night, and Max's brother may be stopping by. It's a bit mumblecore in the car, and we are having casual exposition chatter between our hero married couple about the people invited. Now we meet Gary, a police officer. He has a 9-to-5 work schedule possibly. He has glaring personality traits, and we will pick up on them right away as they inform us about his character that will play strongly throughout the movie. He is standing upright and sturdy, almost stubborn, unmoving, however uneven. He greets his neighbors. He can appear spontaneously, it seems, and does so with a splash of score, friend or foe. Miniatures and exquisite photography, photographony / effects, are the focus of these transitions while we commute or change locations. And I'm here for it. I like it. The opening of the movie is getting a gold star from the movie club movies with the eye and effort to fulfill opportunities, like missed opportunities, for creative choices and strengthening the audience relationship and the glue that can hold chemistry together, like missed opportunities. And I'm saying that this movie sees those and fills them, makes them filled opportunities. Anyway, having game pieces falling in the background of the credits making transitions seems to be board size. And more importantly, the movie is a bit of a game on what's going on. And that's important why I mentioned the trigger warning, is because we're going to maybe ruin the game of the movie, the mystery that is the game. What's going on, and I have a working theory here, that there are clues in every scene. I myself have only seen and caught onto a few, and I will share a few, but ultimately I know we picked this because it's a comedy that has some lasting power and conversational elements. I highly suggest watching this one, and it's a movie I personally suggest to you. Gary is Mr. Personality, and he has something to conclude about everything, as he is a police officer and is very observant. Who else is observant? Griffin Dunn in After Hours. However quietly and steady, I don't want to ruin his charm by repeating all of his lines, but I assure you, he is at a high 94% are classic lines. Here he is checking his mail, and is holding his pet dog, a white Pomeranian. They cast and saloned this dog to be paired perfectly with JP. I will give you a prime example of Gary early rather than later. I was just checking the mail. Some people like to check it earlier. Max and Sarah are standing, listening. But they might run into the chance of the mail carrier hasn't come yet. So I like to check it around this time. This spares me a chance of a futile trip to the mailbox. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary. I theorize Gary was a movie character of the year that year. This is a rewarding dialogue, or trialogue, in fact. It may be three for one. Gary continues his monitoring to include that he lets his dog go tinkle and now turns his interest to Max and Laura, asking about plans for the night. Having a game night? Max had already waved off talking to Gary about their plans, with the unspoken faux pas of neighbors knowing too much about others' personal goings-on. Especially if you are weary of their intentions or offbeat personality, like Gary, Max and Laura are put off and just shying into allowing Gary to run its course. Very well. Like, they just don't know what else to do. Like, he's just having a conversation. They are rude for not wanting to interact, but they don't rub the right way. They just keep explaining a little bit of their backstory. I shouldn't. It's gonna be tough for me to go off my notes, because when I wrote the notes, I was doing my best to contain myself, let everybody interact with this movie on their own and just show you the most sort of charming, gem-like, awkward moments of a unique movie like this. And Gary, of course, continues, adding, I do hope you keep me in mind when you are planning another game night. They are fun. I always join the camaraderie of good friends competing in games of chance and skill. And this may be a key attitude to this creepy-ass movie. Max is holding a tote, Abby is holding a tote with groceries, and Max happens to have 3 bags of Tortilla Scoops chips. And Gary zeroes in. Max has his defensive wits up and throws out, he found a deal on 3 for 1. Gary, much in a Thelma Louise tone, 3 for 1? How would the chip company profit? Max responds simply, these big companies. It's often we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone. Max, I think that's it. Annie, okay, bye-bye. The transition segment is of like chips into a bowl, salsa being splashed into a bowl, and cutting, I don't know, I think a vegetable. I think it's like a sharp, almost quick score, like a slasher film. Annie, if Gary sees the others coming, we're screwed. It won't be a problem. Are we being dicks? Should we invite the guy? No, no, Deb was our friend, and Gary was just the creepy husband we all had to put up with. He's only gotten worse since the divorce. We don't owe him anything. Fuck him. Something rustles. It's the window starts making noises. Almost like someone's trying to get in. The camera has Max and Annie centered, with a Polaroid camera centered at us in the background. We zoom in on the closed blinds of the window. As the scuttering continues, just then, a slender hand pulls towards the camera through the blinds of the window. Annie peeps, screams. It's a woman who looks in as if she was invited over. Hey, in an almost Valley Girl voice. Max peeps, hi. Annie again, can we help you? No, I'm okay. Next is her bae. Next is her beau. Max peeps, Ryan, of course. Why you coming in the window? Sneak in so RoboCop wouldn't see us. He is crushing like a pot of succulents, and then another rustle. Another window. It's like Night of the Living Dead in here. Friends are just oozing in from their windows. It is not a missed opportunity to get physical and use every bit of the house, which is to say, only in spirit because it's just the main level. Anywho, the gang's all here. Kevin, LamorneMorris, Michelle, Kylie Bunbury, Ryan, Billy Magnuson. I don't particularly like Ryan as a character. I think he's probably supposed to be pretty regular of a millennial guy, but he comes across a rude and self-centered and oblivious, like his own BO or bullshit. I just dislike this guy. But he mentions he used to work with Max. He brings a newish date GF every time they've played recently, and Annie is thrown off thinking this is the same woman he dated the last time. Max corrects her and makes a public statement that she has the same voice and look and works at another beauty store at the mall. I think we are treating a character like a replaceable object. However, this should not influence men to treat all women or persons this way. I clearly see the comedy we are brewing up. Ryan is a shithead and is viewing women as easy or replaceable, and we are publicly observing or reviewing this. And it's awkward and juvenile, because as people, we gotta grow past this stereotype. Our other friends are, in my opinion, much more flowing with personality and fun choices. Kevin and Michelle are getting called out as meeting high school and getting married as YA young adults. And then Michelle drops the mic with a beautiful statement that gladly clears the room and is a palate cleanser for us, me too. You know, Ryan, I hope you really find someone to love as much as I love my sweet baby. And then Kevin goes in for a great couple's kiss, and she returns the sentiment, saying to Ryan, yes, find her. And I love that. It's a great scene. It feels so natural, and at the same time, it's got like a good movie line to it all. Max ushers us all to the front room of the house, and Ryan continues in with a rich person uncovered secret. Fight clubs. Do you know that rich people get poor people to fight, and then they bet on them? Michelle recalls this and says, that's not true. Ryan again. If you can have anything you want in the world, you gotta raise the stakes, or life's getting boring. Kevin wants him to stop only reading BuzzFeed. Max thinks to start with charades. Annie asks if they should wait for Brooks. And then the room lights up with energy as our friends have more info for us about Max's brother and questions. Kev, Brooks is in town? Michelle, I thought he was working in Europe. He's back for some work. We hear he's an investor and was one of the first to invest in a popular, casual, fast food spot we all know of. And at the time, I remember in the 2010s, there were wiki trivias coming out saying like franchise owners info was, and social media had a voice towards making all this pop culture. Like some CEOs hunt wild animals, yuck. Others were gifted investments that became tech booms, on and on. Not really that flattering anymore, but it was info uninteresting people most likely are spouting off at parties, even to this day. And what I'm saying is that Brooks is getting this myth told about him, where it's like he helped invest a fast food that is now very popular, but was a part of this. And what I'm injecting is that there was a lot more tech during the time that he would have been investing in this fast food, and people like him were being written up in Wikipedia, and we were new to the idea of finding out about who owns that Caesar chicken wrap fast food spot that's so popular on the West Coast and now making its way in Texas and Illinois. And it's like, oh, it's this, dirt ball, or it's this hot shot, who's got a Corvette and a loving brother. Anyway, I'm just injecting sort of cultural context with sort of a scenario that maybe we can all understand. Just the boom of writing about who CEOs are and investors with like websites like Wiki, or just that the internet was popping off because of the time this is all happening for Brooks. I haven't seen him yet. Either have we. Should we get started? And they say, we haven't picked teams yet. Max gets up and almost starts a game when we hear a horn and revving engine. It better not be Brooks. Down the street is the sound of a fun time. A brother that may be overshadowing Max in the social department with his own friends, and may seem to mess everything up with the fragile lie told to Gary next door. Here comes Brooks. Max notices his new stingray. Gary is nowhere to be seen, and then appears in his own doorway with a Mondrian painting glass window in the background of his doorway. He stares daggers at the goings-on. Brooks is shouting from inside the car, "What?" And then Max lays cover with, "It's just us." And Brooks calls out, "I thought Michelle, Kevin, and Ryan were coming over." "Oh, I can see him in the doorway." Max's head is spinning as Gary sees everything. Max is called Maxi Pad by Brooks and drops a Stella six-pack in Max's lap, while Brooks heads in to smooch and take over Max's camp for temporary. "Sorry, I haven't been over in a while, and you got the Stingray a couple weeks ago." Max chimes in. 1976 Rally Red Stingray. Any thoughts, Kenny? Righteous. Max says it's my dream car. Brooks agrees and mentions it was the idea that inspired the purchase. "How long are you in town for? Depends on big time schmoozing, and the games begin." Brooks asks the first trivia question, with an hourglass running. He stops it by picking it up and pausing after the first answer is scored correctly. Max: "There's no pausing. There's no pausing." Brooks: "Here's a quick story." Brooks tells this humiliating, embarrassing, private sexual story unabashed, with any sensitivity towards anyone's feelings in the room. I guess this is just the ultimate one-upping, and the room is in his palm. However, I find this story disgusting. I would be the one friend saying, "Shut the hell up." Maybe that's why I'm talking through a pod, I don't know. I just don't stand for bullying. I think if Annie also doesn't notice, that may be an issue. But this is a movie, and extremes play us sensational, and that reaches folks sitting in the seats, dripping the nacho cheese. And I could be that person, just. After the resolve of Brooks being a shithead at the moment, let's play the game. And KyleChandler does a great job reading off Trivia Pursuit, and the music is pumping. Up next, Pretzel Max and Annie. Oh, the actor we almost met at the airport 3 years ago. LOL, couple humor is being served, and it's funny and scrambled. Annie is puzzled, and she thinks in the Wayback Stacks. Only actor we've ever met at the airport who's famous. He was in front of us at the pizza place, and we were wondering why he wasn't in the first class lounge. He's hoping for an answer. He asks the room, "I don't know how this game is played." He runs down the hulks. Ruffalo, Bana, Farino, Richard Gere, MFN Ed Norton. 0 points for Max. Brooks puts him down, and we continue out the door as the game night concludes. Brooks, liked by everyone, is asking to be host of the next game night at the house he has. The energy is cheerful. The neighborhood sounds swanky. He says it's cool, and dear friends would be a welcome to his solo stay. Annie actually deflects and says, it's sort of a thing we have here at A&M. Max supports by saying, let's have him show off his big house. It will be a game night you won't forget. Annie is on to him. That little motherfucker. He shows up after not being around, drives up in your dream car, insults our house and tells us an embarrassing story about you right before your turn just to throw you off your game. Oh my gosh, someone else noticed the assault. Because in parentheses here, this kind of embarrassment is affecting his sperm count. Max says, welcome to my life, that's Brooks. Annie has continued and is the lead on this. I thought that was just older brother stuff. I totally see it now. He undermines you every chance he gets. And again, RachelMcAdams' hair looks great, and it's casual. That's crazy. Thank you, Annie. You know, I've never won a single game against him. I'm suggesting we beat his ass. The music synth bubbles. 1 week later. Boxes of board games in hand, Max and Annie head to the car. Gary is already posted, I don't know, at the mailbox again. Startles all of us. Max. Headed to my brother's. Gary. Another game night? Max. No, just headed over to eat, Annie says. And Gary, icon, stoic, is holding and petting his dog, as if they are one as an eraser top. And this dressing up of Gary's character reminds me of a commercial. A security guard has a dog, and he's feeding the dog dog food, a blue button pilot's shirt, in an empty office or conference room for some reason. I think Stanger has mentioned it in ABZ, but has anybody else seen this fancy dog food commercial? It's odd. Why is he a security guard or a pilot? I don't know what's going on. Or is he a titan of industry? Anyway, Max has slid the boxes into the car as if we cannot see them. Remember, he's carrying board game boxes, several of them. And it's priceless. It's the talent of JasonBateman that is shining through. He is just so experienced, he can work the magic. My opinion. It looks funny and effortless. Pity I was going to invite you over for a dinner I'm hosting, stroking his dog's chin, looking like he has an audition in the morning for the villain's son in a Bond movie. JessePlemons is going off about the food he has prepared, and it sounds like he's writing a recipe book. Lamb shakes I've been simmering in a broth of red wine and rosemary. It was Deb's recipe. I hoped she left the recipe card as a gesture of goodwill, but it was most likely an oversight. Oh my gosh, knock knock, comedy Oscars are calling. Banana peels are following. Banana peels are falling, and his dog licks his nose. Annie's says, sounds yummy, and I'm looking around like, get out. Max. Well, here we go. Annie and Max gets into the car, closes the doors. Gary says, what? A&M open their doors and step out. I'm sorry, what? Gary again, with a grain of salt of submission says, I thought you said something. A&M are stanced, 1 foot out of the car. Nope, not us. Door closed, in the car. Wow goes the music. Wow goes the music. We roll up to Brooks's, and I like his house. I think we are all supposed to get a tinge of a handsome, well-designed house. I think this location is incredible. It's a very neat-looking house. And he says he may be overcompensating. No. The house interior is great. Also is very cream and striking lines, but kind of cozy and southwest. Ryan, already on one. My date Sarah, she's head of accounting, corporate communications. She's British. Well, I'm Irish. Same island. Ryan is cricketing out of his league. Max has headed in and is still holding the boxes of board games. We didn't know if he had any games, so we brought a few of our favorites. He hands them over. Scramble, Clue, and Life. Brooks holds these for nearly half a sec and tosses them to the side of a hallway. Toss! Annie jogs and is picking these up off a frame. It's jaw dropping. Shout out to Annie in this moment. I told you, we're taking it up a notch. Fight Club, Ryan exclaims like a dumb puppy. Kevin settles him. Sarah says he believes everything he reads. Ryan's reply is, thank you. Kevin and Michelle have kind of looked at Ryan, and they are wonderful. They're there, and I like following them, because even in the tiniest moments, Kevin is like, this dummy? In our hour, someone is going to be taken, and you will have to find out where they are, or they will be murdered. M and K, a murder mystery. Brooks. I found this great place. They do it legit with legit actors and super real. And the winner gets these keys to the Stingray. Yes, the full car. More than just the keys. Michelle's interested. Brooks has Sarah's attention. And Annie is not fooled. Under her breath, can you believe this guy? They can play a game to pass the time. The main game will begin when it begins. Kevin, never have I ever, is the game he suggests. LOL, LOL. How do we come up with a game to play? I would love to be a part of a group of people that have a routine of entertainment. Like a movie club maybe? Add a plug here. Would be fun. Add here. Beautiful house, good champagne, locust synth buzzes as outside, parked out on the street, are ruthless killers. We are nodding for go time. Game night begins. Max heads out of the men's room into the kitchen hallway. A knife appears. It's Brooks. It's for cheese. Sarah is mentioning here, never have I ever is connected to the computer, to the projector, while WebMD page is up. And I am wondering if that's how Ryan has met her, because he mentions, I didn't have VD, it was hygiene related. I'm like, who asked? He does restate some rules to that game, and it adjusts. A new question of sleeping with a celebrity. So this small group has met some celebs, and maybe it's because they are like LA County based, I don't know. This is a drinking game, and suddenly Michelle has picked her drink up and sipped. Kev, of course, saw this and is accusing her of breathing like she stepped off the elliptical. She is glowing and has a really cool silk jacket on and streamlined hair, as her spring curls were out in the scene prior. The wardrobe, in my opinion, is very cool in this movie and also is easily neutralized by the story and character personality. So now is a good time to mention Michelle is excusing that she was purely taking a drink, losing a track of the game process. The group is synchronized in their gossipy chattering, squashing tea grapes. Michelle, whose turn is it? Annie, it's Max. I'm not playing a drinking game. Who was it? Sarah, what's going on? They've been together since middle school. Kev, it's giving us resolve. We've only had sex with each other. Michelle, backpedaling a unicycle, says, please, don't make this one of your things. Max, this is why we don't play drinking games. Very smart. Knock, 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 knock. Guitar. Synth. Agent Henderson. Jeffrey Wright, in my opinion, is playing this so well as a great actor and acting as if he is amateur or mediocre or missing a few acting tools. It's pinpoint accuracy, and I'm pulled in. He is showing off the flip-flop flop fest. He is showing off the most flip-floppiest. He is showing off the flip-floppiest. Take 5. He is showing off The flip-floppiest wallet and badge. LOL. FBI. Points to the badge. Sunglasses at night. We have reason to believe that one of you, and holds his finger out there on that one. It's bobbing around as he continues growling. Could be the next victim. That's terrible news. The glass coffee table has a sturdy tray of cheese and crackers and fruits. Agent Henderson is slapping down a pile of dossiers, files, for us to fill out. Max asks, smart-assing us. Kevin ad-libs, my wife has a secret life I don't know anything about. Henderson shouts, shut up! All of you! Jeffrey Wright is breaking it down, and the character is a pile of leaves blowing in as he asks, do any of you have any food allergies? Boom! The front door opens again. Two more statuesque, a pair of jacks, walk in, their face obscured. Annie and Max's face are picture perfect. Suburban couple. I know you guys are method, but you can't come in breaking the door down, Brooks says, and gets punched. The masks are like creepy, clear plastic, face-shaped masks. The two guys are plowing, KyleChandler or Casey's stunt double, doing a bang-up job getting put in his own penalty box. Slammed against like a standing fireplace. Fancy place. They take him for a body slam on the glass coffee table. I mentioned before, the game night gang grabs the trays and drinks up. Brooks gets slammed. No breaksies. IKEA alert. Kevin, that's a sturdy table. Annie already has been like, this is very well done. Brooks goes for his ankle piece and gets it kicked towards Annie. Always a keen game player, as we know from the epic meet cute at the top of the movie, she eyes the fire weapon. She eyes the free weapon. We follow poor Brooks from the outside of his bachelor rental to see its lines of feng shui architecture. And I made a gif of this part years ago. I do think it's still on our Instagram page if you check out the archive. Back scroll. This is such a cool shot, cool house, and a little Tony Bennett piano or something on the backup is nice also. We see Buddha hold ground, and I love that. He is getting boosted and carried. The gang thinks this is the game.
To the kitchen, to the walls, until Brooks kicks both of these guys out and out of his house.
He gains a high stance. This gives me a chill, like Raptors and JP. Fridge door gets one joker. Glass is thrown. Glass is broke. Pitcher is thrown. Another pitcher is smashed. And all three go to the island, eventually taking down the pots and pans. You are just making this harder on yourself. Is this the end for Brother Brooks? Max, forever game night host, is heard. Guys, try this cheese. It's just. I love this line. Annie is eyeing the gun. First one of you that follows gets shot. Max, okay, roger that. You drive safe. Zingers. Brooks is taped and taken. He wants to warn us, it seems. Kevin, how could you date a celebrity while we were dating? Michelle, it was during our break. There was a pool at this house, by the way. Ryan gets up, and I don't like this butthead, but he kicks Henderson, and he's just like knocked out for being assaulted. A day job actor. What the fuck? He pokes him in the butt. Kevin and Michelle are still working on the celeb date, and we tighten in on them. Max and Annie leave first and look at the paperwork. K and M are like, shit, they got ahead of us. It's a nice use of frame, and again, our characters have personalities and thoughts. Max has a funny observation. They set this elaborate fight out and give us these riddles. Come on, pick a tone, guys. I think Brooks might be setting me up. Do you all think Brooks set out to have game night so that Max could win and is a sweet brother after all? I don't know. Annie says, let's not play by his rules, and has, I think, his phone and his iPad, Brooks's. Ryan and Sarah are finding no progress, and Kevin and Michelle are looking through a computer in the din of a rental. I wish, LOL. Annie and Max have headed out in their neat car. Sarah has Brooks's wallet and I think is calling his credit card. Ryan is making all the wrong guesses. With his last transactions, they can find out the murder mystery address and head there to find the conclusion, I guess. Sarah has brains and British. Michelle is smart and unfaithful. Kevin is looking for a stapler with a secret message in it, which is so meticulous. Who set that up? Brooks? Was Brooks sitting around clues waiting for the game night to begin? Was Brooks going to play along, or was he the dungeon master, so to speak? An NPC. A flash drive leads Kevin and Michelle to a message that's a riddle. I don't want to get into all the riddles and stuff because I think you should watch and go along properly. If you want more deets, let me know in the message for next time. If you like that I just totally blow up a movie or tell you every single amazing line that would ruin the movie, let me know in the comments because they always have a good chemistry and start talking of answers for the riddle. Kevin's frustration stalls. Brown at nighttime, young in the daytime. I have 8 eyes, but no head. I sing to the sky, but say nothing. What the fuck is that? Just. Please smash that voice message button. How cool are we, Annie says. Max joins in. It was your idea to track his phone. Here we come, Brooksy. Annie, the look on his face when we show up. Max, I can feel my sperm getting stronger. Annie, perfect, LOL. Well, win your brother's car, and then we'll make a baby in it. Kevin and Michelle continue. They're in the den, using the computer. Ryan and Sarah are passing the office door, the den. Ryan, an old coyote, a trickster god, and he shoves the door shut and jams it. Wow, this guy is a dickhead. Kevin wants to burn this door down, LOL. They are in an escape room. Michelle looks up to the skylight. Max and Annie roll in the gravel parking lot across the street from a down-and-out bar. Under a street light, how are they not noticed? Music whirling, swirling sounds from a ball pit in a family arcade in outer space, as the soundtrack is definitely fritzing the night owl here in this down-and-out side of town. How? A man is silhouetted against the dive bar's outside wall. Looks as if he's smoking a cigarette. They have parked next to a dumpster and wonder where Brooks is. How about the next door, you fools? The dumpster beeps, the standard issue beeping noise. Annie lifts the dumpster lid. A smoking guy doesn't notice a GD thing. Annie whispers, "They knew we were tracking him." Max, "Well, they outsmarted us." And they both look at the dive bar behind them. She whispers, "One of the actors? High five." Max, "Why are we crouching?" They are at the dive bar, and they sit at the bar. Of course! Max instantly asks the bartender if he saw a guy who looks like him, and gives him a few added details that makes the barkeep reply, "So a better looking guy." I ain't seen nothing. And MPC walks away. Max is intrigued. He sees a play as Annie squirms with excited intention. This team knows what they're doing, and they are inspired. The chemistry of these two characters, of these two actors, is pretty good. And it's wild their immediate backgrounds in the roles prior to this movie. Want to analyze with me? RachelMcAdams was in Mean Girls, Notebook, Sherlock Holmes is, and Out of Time. JasonBateman, Juno as an aging hipster father figure, and a few others. Haha, but now we are back here, and Annie orders a vodka tonic. And Max goes for a tricky Harvey Wallbanger to see if they can filter out that this bartender is just an actor or fake, Annie says. Bartender returns. Harvey Wallbanger. Annie and Max were discussing how much will change having kids, and give an example of a couple they only see happy Christmas cards from. Did he get it right? The drink, Annie asks. I don't know, but it's pretty good drink. A back door opens and we can see a sacked head man on a chair. Seems like it's Brooks tied up. Max stands up and shouts, There's Brooks! Okay. Annie brought the gun from Brooks and ready to put up an offensive defense by taking over the bar, like they did in Pulp Fiction. She's improvising and playing her game close to the chest because I didn't see this coming. She does a spot-on Pulp Fiction delivery, credit Amanda Plummer. Max is all smiles. They are winning pair. And because she has a gun, these three guys that were in the dive stand up and get in line in front of Max and Annie. This is the bartender and our two formerly masked jokers, a pair of jacks and a schlub. Annie's in control. She dishes out a few duds of insults. Max coaches her to let the gun do the talking. And she does this like breathy roar and goes into on your knees, hands in the ground, eyes closed, and the toadies are confused. She straightens them up with a yoga instruction. Child's pose. Anyone knows child's pose? Which is a wild name for a great simple yoga pose, and I do suggest using this one. It's great for your back and immune system. Annie gets in a crawl position, and then using your arms to stretch forward, bring your hips and butts towards the crowd, like you are crouching to stretch or hold a sword flat to the ground. Child's pose. Annie is holding a yoga class, and one guy is not liking this. Max has a dumb guy face holding the gun terribly. Annie's still yogaing. Kevin and Michelle have stacked decorative raw wood blocks or side tables to help them reach the skylight, and Kevin is still pressing about their celebrity date. If I guess right, will you tell me? Michelle agrees. We know it's a celebrity. He asks if it's an actor. Yes, that is unstable. Kevin, I'm unstable. He's climbing the unstable boxes. Was he over 40? Yes, be careful. American, yes. Tommy Lee Jones from The Fugitive? OG Two-Face? Was it Denzel? Denzel, he questions. She looks away. No, unfortunately. His pressing his hands against the window, I think, and the unstable boxes wobble wobble. He does a great Denzel impression and falls, hitting the door, pushing it open. It's a must-see, and LamorneMorris is doing stellar work with a slice of a plot. I know he has only talked about his wife's dating history, but I think that getting the joke out was important for our pace and hurting our friend group so as to not push each individual on us individually, but open it up like breathing a Malbec. His relationship with Michelle is happening now rather than the first 3 minutes, and now we've spaced out the movie, plus he's funny. I'm LOL. Baby, I fell down. Michelle's checking in on him. And we get a cool transition shot of a car framed to look like the size of a Matchbox car, rolling into a small strip mall parking lot. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Last chance here. This miniature. This is Sarah and Ryan. This strip mall location. This is where the murder mystery company is located, as if a storefront. Sometimes escape rooms are set up like that, so I guess let's go in. But first, Sarah shows us more backbone. Ryan brings up the cliche about, I usually bring hot dumb girls, and you're not. You're smart. And Sarah kinda snaps and takes control. Now I know you just needed to bring a ringer. A ringer is someone who is put on a team by the team in hopes of outplaying, and it may be as simple as a good player that is not from your friend group. All of a sudden, this guy is on your team. Many forms of this in sports and pickup games. Woody Harrelson in White Men Can't Jump at a certain level is a ringer in that movie. He also gets beat by one. Sarah also making a strong showing that this is not a date. She is a real woman, and there are real consequences for leading someone on or objectifying every relationship you're in. Ryan comes back with bro talk. If this wasn't a date for you, why are you wearing lipstick? And this guy goes in to touch her lipstick, smear it, and she has a perfect bite, like he's a carrot. Great sound, right? They enter the storefront. Murder, we wrote. They enter the storefront. Murder, we wrote. It's dark, and there are many heads and baby faces and props, and kind of looks like a dressing room of costume shop. Further, they walk, step by step, until they reach a desk, and the chair has been turned around. We see a hair of a Bernie situation here. As we roll the chair around, we see a woman with a gash on her head, floral dress, and she's pregnant. This is Chelsea Peretti, one of the greats. What's her podcast? Screams. She looks dead and she wakes. Sarah is scared. And this is comedy. Bill Murray in Zombieland weighing them out. Ryan needs to negotiate with Chelsea the final location or what riddle answer that wins the game. He puts money onto the desk and slides at varied speeds in order to personally persuade Chelsea. She is not at all impressed or moved. How much do you want? I don't know. $100, requests Chelsea. Sarah takes over. How much do you have? $17? You brought $17 out tonight. Take 3. The ladies send body language signals for the win. Chelsea takes the $117 off the table. Break here. Break here. Oh my gosh. Henderson to Michelle. Stay back. He's up and awake, resting against the glass coffee table. Hey buddy, could we get a second? The answer to the riddle? And it's funny because as an audience, we are not like so over the riddles. It's almost like a bad movie if those scenarios are out of context. And because of the celeb date story, they remain kinda weightless and not valued. We're just going through the motions of having riddles and those answers taking place anywhere in this movie. Because this is really a kind of family action movie. And by family, I mean like movie night or nachos and LaCroix or like bongo dogs and chill. Nachos and LaCroix or like bongo dogs and chill. Nachos and chill. Oh gosh, this is Jeffrey Wright. Don't you get it? That was not us. A littler boom at the door. 2 jokers come in. They say, get on the floor. And they see Ron Henderson. 2 guys came in here and attacked me. Again, Jeffrey Wright is on levels here. On Ben Stiller Tropic Thunder levels. Murder, we wrote. A printed card? Look in your jacket pocket. Why would a book have a jacket? A phone call. Just a Chelsea stares in 99 judgment. Glinda. Ron was attacked? Speakerphone. They took the host. Kidnappers. Dangerous fucking criminals, Glinda. Okay, well these are my notes. I don't want to heckle my own notes, but, you know, Ryan has dumb jokes, and Chelsea Peretti is staring in Brooklyn Nine-Nine judgment, I think is what I'm trying to say. Her name is Glinda, so the jokers at the house have now contacted the mystery storefront. They are connecting on info. Gosh, this is too much, but these are my notes. I think we get it now that these 2 entities are now connecting. Yeah, they beat up our actor and they took the host, Brooks, right? So now Sarah, Ryan, Chelsea Peretti, and her company are all on the level. We're back with Max and Annie. Yogi, Rachel McAdams as Annie, I'm sorry, looks casually incredible as she puts on 3 Doors Down on a juke. I like that someone is using a jukebox to play music. And sorry, not sorry, go Annie. I don't really like the song she's playing though. She's dancing and spinning the gun in the guys' faces. Boops! Tats the barkeep on his head. This movie Ryan Stanger from the Action Boys would call brutal. I see you spying that, Ponytail. As the gun's safety is not minded, Max comes up with keys and opens the door with Brooks inside. He cannot see or speak. Max and Annie gloat. Well, mostly Max. Max gleefully exclaims, "Hello," to his kidnapped brother. Annie gleefully explains, "Shit," to the would-be loser. Max wants a selfie, of course, and Annie centers Brooks and bites the gun as Max snaps the pic and rips his tape off. "This is not a game, Max!" Glass breaks in the bar door. A small window. A hand reaches in. Max: "It's a wrap in here, okay? Show's over." "I'm a smuggler." AM in unison. "A smuggler? A Bulgarian's egg." Trigger warning. "And now he's going to kill me." In 3. Knocks at the door and a hand is reaching for the handle, and we see two-tone shots of a dangerous criminal against the door on the other side. 2. This is real. The door hand has a plunger and is going for the door handle. Annie: "Is this gun real?" Brooks: "Oh no, Annie." 1. Pop! The light is out. Pop! Max is shot in the arm. "Blood!" Max shouts. The arm is grabbing the latch to the door, and we can see him in the door window. He has made real efforts to open the door right away, and Annie runs to the other side, and Brooks, around the back, is untying him. The lock turns. With the camera, Max is shook and stunned. Brooks is out the back door. As janitors, we could call this the VIP exit. It opens to the doobie lobby. Annie helps Max out, and our stooges are on their Nordstrom Rack heels. I don't know if this is Bateman's improv, but I don't like that Max's reaction at this pool point. He's sort of being a small child and is just almost tiptoeing with the crew. And it's like the one out of place moment for Max. Anyway, just my thoughts. These are stuntmen, I'm assuming, and they are wildly earning their paycheck. A duplicate suburban car rolls up and keeps them from maintaining on their trail. The game night party of 3 get into the car as Annie smacks one guy with the back end. Roll out. Brooks starts explaining what's going on. "I've lied to you and the family about what I do. I buy and sell illegal shit on the black market." "The wet market, Brooks?" "No." "So you're a criminal?" "Oh, they're following us, and the cameras are mounted on the car here." I kinda like that paired with the transitions, this seems like an thread. Brooks crossed a boss named the Bulgarian, and has his hands in all kinds of pies around the world. What kind of pies? "Max, illegal stuffs, Max," is what I said. But he just wanted me to find this Fabergé egg. Annie is right now like, "Wow." Max is like, "Fuck that." 45 minutes into the movie. "Fabergé, are you kidding?" So there's this other guy who will pay twice as much for the same egg. Max puts it together quicker than we do. "So what this guy comes to get you on that same night as our game night?" Brooks: "Yeah, what are the chances? Ha ha ha." Now the jokers are in hot pursuit. We get some from above road shots, fueling the movie's chase intensity. I am wondering if the area of the city this was filmed in is now overgrown with ready-made, overpriced condos. I bet I win that bet. And still not afford affordable housing. Shout out to Russell Westbrook for building a major development in SC, LA. Can we go to the cops? No, because he has moles all over the city. Like whack-a-mole? No, like informants. If I go to the police, I will be dead before the cops even get me. These guys are not stopping what we do. They are not going to stop until they get me. And Brooks is like a sad clown at an amusement park. Sprinkle the synth. "I'm sorry I got you guys into this. I'm sorry for a lot of things." His hand presses the door handle. Door is ajar. "I love you, Max. Don't be an idiot." Brooks rolls out onto the road in front of a dumpster. He opens the lid. "Hi," says Charlie Watson. Would Bumblebee help us out of this jam better than Max and Annie? Is RachelMcAdams jumping into the dumpster? I guess we'll have to watch and see what the hell happens next.
For break here, break here.
Max says, "Stop the car." If you can peek to your left, they have stopped next to an orange street lamp, lit stone wall. That looks like an elephant wrinkles or tortoise shell texture. Very well sought out location. And again, That's probably where the wooden furniture chic antique store has opened, near the one brunch spot, as condos must be germinating, waiting for a turn nearby. Annie is out of breath. Gunshots cause them to excel again and peel out of there. Brooks must be in the clutches of the enemy again. Max is feeling faint and should get med help. Annie runs down a short list of ideas. How about a mob doctor? How about a mob doctor, since a hospital would alert the police? A mob doctor? A mob doctor. Is that the plot of Hotel Artemis? They gather their tickets and head to a convenience store. You're going to have to do it. Pull the bullet out. Annie has a great delivery, a sort of wailing, breathing. I'm losing my shit. Oh my. Oh God, this is bad. I hate game night. Annie's hair looks great. Doorbell dings. A sewing kit is pulled from the hanging shelf. Change is slid against stainless steel. Cashier's point of sale tray. Annie smiles. Charlie Watson throws a book away and frowns. Michelle calls Annie. We are caught up in something. Where are you guys? We are still at Brooks's house about to talk to the cops. Annie. No, do not tell the cops anything. Brooks' life depends on it. Kevin is also hearing this, and Annie assures Max is all right, but was shot by Annie. Max is waiting to be mended. Similar shot to Brooks's house, we scan along the storefront, with Annie forward progressing with surgical supplies. The storefront probably is Brooks's tech boom house at the point of this recording.
Ha ha ha. Gentrification. It's a Tuesday, just.
Max is weak and squirming. Rubber gloves, tweezers, sewing kit, no hard liquor, so I got this lovely shard. McAdams is killing this movie, and is also over-the-top ideal partner, LOL. Unreal, but funny. I want to keep watching rather than wiki people I forgot about from the 90s. She also got a magazine that has a corn chowder recipe that looks good, and I know you like corn chowder. Is McAdams improv? That is out of this asteroids. One more item. And a burger-shaped squeaky toy for Max to bite. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. A surprisingly opportunity is worked out here with the camera-ready wound scene. And I guess this is for the nursing-minded audience out there. Oh, we are such a formula, aren't we? Guys like trucks and guns, and women like nursing and child rearing. So is Billy Madison a popular movie amongst boys or women? Who likes science and chemistry? Anyone besides TMCMS? Stop thinking with your pants, guys. Okay, we need to get into Max's arm here. He puts the burger toy in his mouth and holds his arm for Annie, Mama Bear. Annie and Max have a parking spot inside a nest for the unhoused. This is LA, or city on the West Coast, and we are lit by a cornered in a doorway. Leaves and rubbish is scattered, along with spots of graffiti almost everywhere we've been tonight. No one housed resting here. No one has stopped the couple for a cigarette. Okay, though, just, it's game night and the board is clear of all distractions, except those playing the game. It's almost the streets of Running Man, or Ice-T in Surviving the Game, or maybe not. Annie is on her own pace here, and she is giving us tension cues with her body language. And she started with a fresh clap of her Mrs. Mitts. Checking out the wound, she has a horticultural website up on her phone, and she can get instructions for taking the bullet out. We are doing the best that we can. We are getting by. Yes, A&M, we are. Burger and mouth, everybody. Shard and wounds, it stings. Burger, squeak! More squeaking because she's going in. Fast forward, squeak! Watch the movie if this is intriguing to you. There is comedy here. Revert your eyes. Expert, what are you, Steve Jobs? What's that? That's bone. What does the webpage say if you can't find the bullet? The bullet has exited the arm. The couple gets dueling dry heaves. We are back at A&M's house. Annie, after helping her man, is in charge now. Max's sleeve is sewn to his wound. That's LOL. Ryan has no help with an anecdote about the girl he once dated. Have a cop father. Can we ask her to use the computer? No, that ended badly. Okay, guys, we are not helping. Quit being dirtballs. Step your game up. Kevin, Billy Bob Thornton? Guys, I just said dirtballs. You slept with BBT? Okay, he has 3 guesses and 2 are backwoods oldies. No chance of being handsome enough for a queen like Michelle. Remember, it was Tommy Lee Jones and Billy Bob Thornton? What are we doing here? Kevin, you must keep trying and find him. Yes, find him. He did use Denzel on a guess. So if that was 3 guesses, I don't know how long she keeps him going for it. Anyway, Annie, where else can we get a police computer? Mondrian's stained glass window door opening. The game night gang stops by. Gary's. He's got Baxter, Bastion, and is in mid-chew on, I'm sure, savory lamb chops. Deb's recipe, remember? Is Gary a dirtball? Gary is holding a lampshake that has a similar shape to a turkey leg, a chicken leg, LOL, and it made me giggle, as Max is called out by Gary. I thought you were going to your brother's, remember? Annie and Max were stopped by Gary when they were getting into their car. LOL, Max again. I didn't say that. Dirtball. I think that there was a loose mumble comment about how Deb wasn't as good at games as Gary was. Gary, I thank you not to besmirch my ex-wife. That woman is an angel. Oh, Gary, as he says that to the woman of color. Greatness. He's replying to Michelle, comma. He's excited and smiles. He backs into his own house, doorway, into the masculine mist of darkness. Darkness. The friends don't know when to enter. The doorway just is a black rectangle. In transition, we see popcorn kernels in oil. Pop. Record needle drops onto vinyl. Pop. And Jenga bricks are tossed onto a playing table. Popped corn with sea salt in a bowl. Pop. On Max's arm. Oh, as Max plays into excitement for the popcorn snack. Max is a TMCMS member. Ask him about nachos. Ryan notices a framed photo of game night, which is really steady on the group of white people sitting on a sectional couches. It creates a cozy vibe of friendship, but post 2016, I am catching set deco like this as odd, and the idea that imagery like this is steady throughout the movie, like I said and said before, Ryan had questionable cookie cutter dates, and we saw a montage of those women amongst friends of M and A that we do not meet or see again, all on Max and Annie's sectional seating, LOL. How many of us have a couple sectionals? Please smash that voice message button. Gary interrupts my question to answer Ryan. Doesn't everyone have framed pictures of their friends in their house? Their phones, Gary, on their phones. 2 historic guns are perched behind Gary, as if to frame an American hero, archaic heroes, as Annie and Max had a Polaroid in their hero frame. I also want to mention the visual theme with the Fabergé egg look and texture. The lamp that Ryan is sitting next to has a fishnet layer over the glowing beige vellum cover. My art degree allows me to know that this will show us Ryan's interest in this movie, and we are looking for a MacGuffin, perhaps. A MacGuffin is something that's injected into films, screenplays, in order to keep the audience interested. It might be a map, or a location, or a key, or a story, or a person, and ultimately the hero is most likely trying to find something greater, something else, maybe something more improved, or what have you. Max starts us off with the tower of bricks. He removes and replaces one piece and then asks about the restroom. Had Max never been here? Gary awkwardly mentions, "It's next to our room." My room. Max heads that way. Bastian is looking. Max sees Gary's laptop folded open to a login. How convenient. Gary, did I mention, is still wearing his officer's shirt and pants. Clock out, Gare. Music has gone to an almost ringtone, bubbly, quietly working a digital grid of arithmetic as Max hot-foots it through the hallway. BR door shut, GR down open, and quietly shut as Max's eyes open wide. Gary has a wall memorial to his ex-wife and their relationship, well lit as we see a wobbled character drawing and personal notes from the past of love and support and spontaneity, which this is a movie about spontaneity. Quickly, my notes said BR door shut, GR down open and quietly shut, and BR means bathroom, bathroom door shut, and GR, so funny, means Gary's room. I wrote that in my notes. GR, bathroom door shut, Gary's room, down, open, and quietly shut, as Max's eyes open wide. Gary has a wall memorial to his ex-wife and their relationship. This is a movie about spontaneity. I like this is a sensitive showing of male vulnerability, and he has an authority figure, and this is all contrasting. Along with, more importantly, that there really is a Deb, the person, as she is seen in these photos. We are seeing wedding topper and more drawings, just like, personal notes and photos at parks and places they went, but also like real things, like actual drawings and like a thing that's a wedding topper. And there's even like, I think, a t-shirt someplace. Gary has some personality on display, as we may be able to put some puzzle pieces together to figure out how the relationship may have run out of tokens. Debbie looks like a alright gal. She is nonverbal but non-silently played by Jessica Lee, who may not be in anything else as yet. Max is at the computer. G. Kingsbury, of course. Password? Max, being smart, looks barely to his left and types DEBBIE, successful. Gary detects chemistry between Sarah and Ryan. "No, we are not dating. I wouldn't do that thing," Sarah bashfully says. JessePlemons is skiing these slopes with skill and patience. "I am not the best judge of chemistry in the world." Right now, Annie is looking at Gary like she is watching the movie with us. She's got a femme red and black striped sweater that keeps giving me Freddy vibes. Ha 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 ha. Cute though. Gary is going through a few emotions, and we notice he has a wedding ring on. What happens to the wedding rings? Do divorced people go and have them melted for money or remade into other rings? I'm going to wiki that. Okay, at the laptop, Max gets the name he was looking for and begins to write the info down, and we see his arm connected to his sleeve as saturated with blood and is begun dripping. On to Gary's light carpeting, and then comes Bastian, Gary's little fluffy white dog. The game team has been dumbly stalling for Max's research time. Gary has shifting eyes. Ryan changes his tempo mid-pace. "Come on, Annie, take your time." Mick and the Stones are saying, "There's too much blood." Bastian is licking the carpet. Max also looks up the Bulgarian, who has a list of murder, torture, trafficking. Max is concerned about his brother. He sees his trail of blood and our misguided doggy wet with blood drips. The chair to the desk Max was sitting in has gone missing, probably to get lighting on the shot of the carpet trail and dog. TMCMS notices, Ha 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 ha. Tension rises as Max is pressed. He cannot wipe away the blood. Does anyone have OJ on speed dial? No, just, not anymore. Kato Caitlin speaks up. Uh, uh, is there gonna be a buffet? Max's frustration mounts when grabbing for a bottle of water. He knocks the head off of a wedding statue. He shouts, "No!" as if in pain. The game room hears and is alarmed. Especially Gare. Best use of a character named Gary since House Guest? Gary! Sinbad and Phil Hartman? Everyone is stunned. Sarah thinks to ask about Deb, and as the Seinfeld character would sit stunned by the Eagles song, Gary seems possessed by the memories of a past relationship and as programmed remains seated in his command chair. With the other game players, he settles his thoughts and focuses. He's become very still and is just in center frame and thinking. Where do I begin? Max is holding Bastion with a damp towel, a dog becoming boardwalk taffy pink. Does salt water remove blood? What do dogs do moments after a splash of water hits their fur, or you have finished their doggy bath? Max sees that it wasn't a towel, it was a Deb photo, a direct-to-garment t-shirt. And Bastion lets his hair down, shake, 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 shaking off the bloody water, rinsing the walls around Max. All hell's broken loose. Why deny it? Game night, we gotta get amped. One of our players needs our help. Okay, fuck this. Hey, gang? Gary was right. It's an awful late. The game isn't over. It's your turn, Max. Be careful, Max. As he manhandles the stack of blocks into piling over, and that would lose his round. Gary is like, what the heck? Bastion? Kevin is driving. Michelle is in the passenger seat. Annie behind her, next to Max, and then Ryan and Sarah are in the back. I'm sorry, but this is like a Nissan Altima with like seats for 9. I think we may have a different car. I don't know. Max's phone rings. Please don't be Gary. An anonymous voice says, we have your brother. 1 hour into the movie. We can do a swap. Please don't hurt Brooks. Well played, Max. Is this Gary's voice just scrambled? Meet at midnight. If you're late, he dies. I think they want the egg, possibly. That's the swap Max is mentioning. Less than an hour, no answer. Ryan thinks it's a scary monster. We are in someone's Pacifica, and it's never mentioned. They arrived at the mansion where this is the one dealer that Brooks sold the egg to for more money. I think I'm putting that together correctly. The highest bidder. This is his place. Max wants to do this alone. Of course, why bring innocent people into a seemingly family mess? Annie is supporting this. This is game night. We are here to do this. Annie is incredible and wants to do this as a union. The game gang is like, we can all do this. Michelle, Kevin, and Ryan say this is the best part of their week. A game night club. TMCMS, go! Damn, flippy floppies, let's get this movie night club into a minivan and infiltrate a mansion that may or may not contain a priceless decorative egg and dangerous fucking criminals. Yes, Agent Henderson. Let's go, TMCMS, movie club members, A&M, thank you. Sarah breathes out. Good friends. Michelle, yeah, why are you still here? You don't know us. You should go. Sarah speaking for herself and her own damn choices. I got caught up in it. If I go home now and read the paper tomorrow that you all died, I would feel like shit. I will stick around. Sarah is pretty effing cool. A game time, dame time, Lambo begins to growl out of the mansion's gate. Similar to the horrible boss's parked scenes, Max is at the ready. Kevin punches the accelerator. Go, go, go. They pull into park inside the gates. As a group, they walk to the front door. Anyone seen Ride Along 2 when Kev Hart and Ice Cube and Olivia Munn head in to crash a mansion party? It looks similar, except our characters are dressed down for game night. We can see a grand table catered, and those party down caterers have a turkey setup. And like You've Got Mail or the fraternity sheet cake in Transformers 2, who is eating this kind of food at a party? Turkey, sheet cake? Where are the bongo dogs and tuna sandwiches? I mean, party people, come on! More tuna, less turkey, am I right? We begin walking past drink servers into a downstairs, where white noise can be heard, the white noise of shouting, like an event is taking place, for only the richest of shouters. The sci-fi whirling of our soundtrack has exchanged for the out-of-date dance music called dubstep is back. Men are punching each other as a crowd of pale, steaming, cigar-smoking onlookers shout at two competing fighters. One person of color can be seen, and this is sus producing. Let me pass and fast forward the glaring miscalculation. I dislike fighting as a sport outside of the greatest Muhammad Ali or Carl Weathers movie, Rocky, Rambo, or Cobra movies, or Creed. Or Death Becomes Her with Goldie Hawn, Meryl, and Bruce. Danny Houston is our easy-to-spot villain, and Sarah tags Ryan with, "It's a rich guy's fight club," said with an Irish twang. Ryan is glowing with validation like a pinball bumper lit up inside of him. At the moment, I'm thinking it's Kevin that says it. Django Unchained bullshit 2012, and Max and Annie coaches us out of this. Look upstairs, find the eggs, text the others, and be careful. Kevin is emotional after their night and coming upstairs from Eyes Wide Fight Club. That's a double award score if you're keeping score. We were on a break. I got a hand job from somebody. Why can't you just tell me? Michelle is center on our frame and she looks great. She's looking at her husband and begins to tell us her private experience with a celebrity meeting. It was 10 years ago. Kevin knows that. I was at a gas station, and I saw a guy at the next pump. It was Denzel Washington. This guy's looking up from his phone. Reflected sunbeams are crystallizing spectrums around him. He and Michelle meet eyes. Michelle's effect is like an easy, breezy cover girl look. Gas is $2.69. Needle drop weekend. I got my eyes on you. Kevin, hold up. It actually was Denzel? Michelle, pretty and relieved, looks at Kevin, and we see her. Kevin has like a red or salmon-colored button-up shirt peeking out of an olive or army green basic lightweight bomber cut jacket. In her memory, Michelle is wearing Irish Spring, green, breezy, like I said, dress, and hers is olive green also. As the couple squares this one out, Kevin is tethering. He was really nice, Michelle continues. Denzel is in a charcoal, form-fitting t-shirt and a bulky quasi I saw training day and bought this leather jacket. He's grinning and speaking back to an exaggerated, laughing Michelle. I asked him if he would like to get drinks. We got a little tipsy. Shows Michelle and Denzel at a glitzy table, same clothes they were wearing, with what looks like to be champagne bottle on ice at a club, and tequila. I offered to pay for drinks, and he let me, which I thought was pretty cool. Michelle is still explaining. We danced for hours. Denzel is still in his leather jacket. We see an expansive Reno 911 movie, hotel shot of all the doors, as our couple walks into the screen and to the right, going to their room, from the elevator. Denzel still in his leather jacket, and Michelle in her leggy, green, spring dress. One thing led to another, she says, and a weekend continues behind us. It was just this one-time thing that happened, and it led me to realize that the only person I want to be with is you. Darling face right now. Kevin has a face of shock and turning to resource not available. Mouth slightly open. Acquiring confidence. Nah, I don't believe it. Michelle took a picture of them at the club. I put it in a hidden folder, which, note to actual unfaithful iPhone users out there, during updates, those folders shift after updating. You have to go back and hide those. Unfair, but it's all part of the game. Denzel and Michelle. Kevin looks at the photo 10 years after it happened. Okay, TMCMS, we can run down that what Denzel was in and had out during the time she is meeting him. He had just really won America over and was strictly working in major studio projects. Busy and I'm sure exhausting. This meetup is happening after Spike Lee's Inside Man is released, shortly after a TMCMS selection, Tony Scott's Deja Vu is released, and most likely during the shooting of a release of a TMCMS favorite, American Gangster, is out in 2007. Massive movie, although great debaters marks maybe a break in DW's work year, roughly 2007 to 08. A year or two after meeting Kevin's wife, Denzel Washington stars in Taking of Pelham 123. And another TMCMS classic selection with our fave Chris Pine, Unstoppable, about a runaway Midwestern service train, which is a podcast favorite. Our hero Kevin here takes a good look at her celeb sighting selfie. Is it validating? Survey says, Kevin? Yeah, baby, that's not Denzel. 3 series, BMW, 2-bedroom condo. Michelle is locked. I noted this, and it's terrific. The performances in this movie are terrific. LamorneMorris has a funny Denzel impression, hoping to win his deflated wife back. And they never stop looking like the sweetest couple. Speaking of an older version of them, A&M are looking through a spare room used as an office, looking for Brooks's valuable eggs. Annie brings up a great point. This monster has 5 kids. How are we not able to have one? Like true crime podcasts are always explaining, between the murders he held down a server job and maintained a mortgage and car payment. How? Someone cuts me off in the self-checkout line and I have an evening meltdown, barely able to organize my bank statement, let alone cover up a vicious assault or murder alibis in crooked black market transactions. Do you know how hard it is to apply proper shipping to a Mercari or eBay sale? LOL, murders are so crafty and disorganized. Max and Annie are in a fruitless debate, and it doesn't seem natural or organic. It seems cut and paste. American couple has debate so that our male can save masculine decision making. It's a couple's decision to have a baby. In this type of format, writing in Western cinema comes up often. When now we are watching our male character turn the dialogue table around, and we can clearly see him remake the decision of having a baby for the American family, is literally on his words. Please, Max, express yourself to the audience, unfairly repurposing your family baby making. Annie is 1 in a million. As he explains, they used to stay up all night at a bar or arcade playing Pac-Man, getting to level 85 and 86. No woman is joining in on Pac-Man at an arcade for 85 levels. Unreal. Would love to meet such a gal. Max is talking about not making it to the leaderboard of life. What is this paragraph? Screenwriter delete. Annie is calling his bullshit, as I did, in a paragraph above his paragraph on screen. Brooks is looking to be on the leaderboard of life, and that's not a good example. You don't want to beat Brooks in order for a healthier family. You want to be bros and bypass a family with RachelMcAdams? Delete, 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 delete. Thank you, JLC Jesse from 1985 Perfect, for deleting my 1985 Word dot file. Max is left standing Stan Laurel. And as Annie says, I'm going to look someplace else, is what you would be hearing when you ask a single lady to play Pac-Man with you. Back at the fight pit, 90210 Ryan to the more observant Sarah, who sees the egg as a butler counts money in the crowd of people and places it in a safe, with the egg red and perched so as a team of game players to swoop and snag. Team date lipstick proceed. You have to watch some of the fight in order to watch Ryan, one hand holding champagne flute, goes all in on snagging the egg. Our person of color fighter is socked into the face, spun around, knocked out at the foot of Ryan. The onlookers look on, as well as the future. Our prettiest, dimmest hero, Ryan, is a Zoolander deer in deer hunter headlights. Sarah is witnessing. Boomer is looking. Danny Houston is like, "Who are you? I have eggs like this at my mansion. I am the CEO of Cyberdyne Systems." Drops glass and runs off. Upstairs, where the rest of the team is, Boomer, a beast of a fighter, is on his Orange County tail. Scavenger hunt has turned to American rules keep away. Tossing it to a flanked Michelle, through the kitchen staff holding drink trays hit the floor. Ryan slides. Michelle runs with it. Security is swarming from all walkways. The team is scattered, and the mansion is narrow, yet has caverns of rooms almost like a bee's nest, or better yet, wasp. Michelle finds a wiggling path to toss across the wood-paneled room to her man Kevin. Annie shouts, "Kev, up here." He makes the toss, and more vocal running and squirming. She gets two toughs to collide as she wiggles her way to a straight elevating toss to her baby daddy Max above, who instantly finds a blocking Joker goon and loses the rolling egg. Our soundtrack and egg are headed for the drop off to the room below, where Sarah collects the egg, singled out. That was as easy as a shirtless, bloodied fight squares up as she yells, "Oh!" Ryan rushes in, rushing him into a glass coffee table. M and K have entered this room. In the doorway, Kevin observes, "Glass tables are acting weird tonight." Did Gary's house have a glass coffee table? Green Lambo is parked outside, as our time has had it, and we make a break from the end zone, which is their car parked. Middle-aged security soft-step it out and miss their car pulling away, similar to the other times. Annie tough talks Max. "So you don't want to have a baby? So that you can do shit like that?" Thumbing behind her. Max, dazed, says no. Ryan is so dumb, or Max, I don't know. Kevin is driving, thank goodness. They are looking for the drop-off. GPS has them confused momentarily. Who has the egg? Who is holding the egg? JustinJustin. If you don't stop it, I'm going to come back there and give you something to cry about. Annie sees the drop-off, and Kevin needs to stop the car. Squeal! Where's the egg? Just. Where's the egg? Just. The eggs pass through the middle of the family van and into the windshield, smashing the egg. And the van comes to a stop, breathless. Oh my, that's great. M and K are inspecting the broken egg pieces, which would be jeweled, and ceramic or porcelain. This one seems plastic. Kev has a made in China sticker. Ryan thinks maybe it's just the sticker. 90s stand-up jokes. Sarah replies, "Let's let them talk." WITSEC reads a small printed list of names and addresses. Patrick, Maurizio, Brian, Mark, Jennifer, Summer. Addresses from California, Alaska. Maybe they wanted this list, not the eggs. Let's pull up and ask. The meetup is shot from the distance as to give the effect like we are on a game board. We roll up. Brooks is there, unmasked, with our two jokers from the beginning. No barkeeper this time. Now this guy, Ponytail, has the gun. Annie has said they have the list. He says, "Get on the ground. None of that child pose shit. They're going to kill me. Why are you all here? Because you're my brother. I'm a fraud. I cheat. I cheated everything," he explains. He has always cheated, even at the game of life, which is sacred to Annie and Max. Annie is not having it. Brooks thinks Annie is the greatest girl in the world. I agree, possibly, but I know she's just written. Brooks is spilling the barrel of monkeys and says, "One last clue. Look in your jacket pocket. It's keys. Keys to the Stingray? In Max's jacket? For how long? This whole time?" Annie is stunned. They are all still flat on the ground while these three are talking. Are their friends being shot or tortured on the ground? My God. Surprise, I hear police sirens. Brooks says he's a fuck up, Sorry, Max, I think we are going to be okay. I have a feeling. On the phone with a goon who says, you want me to kill them all? Okay. Sirens. Wait, we got you the list. Sirens bubble closer. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Patrol cruiser comes in straight ahead and swerves in a defensive maneuver to create some protective cover. Freeze! It's Gary! It's the Fuzz. No, not Bastion, just Gary. Pistol pointed, gloves on, and his outfit completed with regulation police accessories. Is this cheating? Don't even think about it, pig. This is confrontation at its most adrenalizing. LOL. Gary responds, Action Force. Can't say I care for that nomenclature, which I spelled correctly for the first time I wrote it down, and only turned on closed captions to check my spelling. Is that a high score spelling scramble word? Beastie Boys. Well, I'm the king of boggle. There is none higher. I get 11 points off the word quagmire. So I guess that's a yes. Goons start shooting. Gary retreats for the cover of his cruiser by defiantly sliding across the hood of his cruiser. He looks for strategic offense. Game is still on. One shot, one goon down. Second shot, Ponytail takes it in his long leg. Gary comes around his patrol car and outfires Ponytail, taking him down with a smirk. We have a hero in our frame. The Game Gang gets up and is quaking with observations. Gary has some observations of his own. He may have scratched the paint on the hood of his car, and also calls out the gang, hiding their need for help in a thinly veiled, nocturnal Jenga game. He backtracked Max's search history. He also saw blood-splattered wedding souvenirs. Everyone is saying thank you. An additional shot from dying Ponytail, center of Gary's chest. He was just doing his job, and for our moment, it was without skin tone, social or economical prodigiousness. Annie says, Gary, you have a lot to live for. Gary says, I do? Do I? Oh, no, Gary. No wife, no friends. Max says, we are your friends. Gary continues, gritting his teeth with blood rolling out of his mouth. You don't even like spending time with me. Max BS through his teeth with maybe a nasty blood-clotting shirt sleeve. Yes, you do. We're your friends. Just a little selfish. Gary says, please take care of Bastion. You will take care of Bastion yourself. As soon as you get out of the hospital, you're coming to every game night we have. The end may be nearing for old Gary.
Oh, Gary.
My notes. That's what my notes said. I'm not saying that. Oh my gosh. Don't you ever exclude me again. Excuse me. Excuse me. Don't tell me not to exclude you. My wife and I will exclude whenever we want, officer. Max sees something after Gary is intensely watching the couple say they won't exclude him. Just as intense as rudely asked. He sees a blood capsule, like in the movies or costume effects. And that is how you do a game night, says Gary Kingsbury, officer of the law. We and Annie say, what? He is silently clapping for the group. Kevin notices our goons get up and shouts, startling the group. Max is trying to straighten out. Brooks stands in exhaustion. After you excluded me, I hijacked Brooks's murder mystery and staged a kidnapping of my own. Okay, he's a creep. And an awful friend. But we have to believe that Max and Annie and their friend group that seems influenced by the group's genuine interest and energy at competing in friendly games, so Gary's effort would be valued by a couple personalities like Annie and Max's. What better way to prove my game night dedication, Gary states. Brooks, you gotta be kidding me, so he didn't know? Felons that helped on Gary's side project, Ponytail asks, are we square now? Thank you, gentlemen. That lady hit me with the car, is tagged by one goon. You put us through this for your amusement? No, for your amusement, the group. He's smiling. Did everyone have fun? The group, mostly dishevels, answers no. Max, I got shot. Annie, by me! Gary, I don't see how that was possible. My men were using blanks. This long exposition dump and extended group huddle is still suspicious because, like just said from back in the fam van, where is the egg? Does someone want info from the egg? I think we are only sidetracked from the real issue with a second game diversion. A game being a distraction says no one? Question mark? Brooks says, that was my gun, real bullets. Fuck it, bullets, I don't give a fuck. Confirming Brooks is going through something real, along with his fake game that was interrupted by a more intense and realistic Gary's fake game. So the one real game is still going. TMCMS, that's why there is a host. And that's why, again, we don't play drinking games while we watch movies. Gary, you've lost me. Max, the egg! Annie hands Gary the list that was found. We're 2 hours into the movie. Everyone was looking at Gary, and behind Gary, the real fudge maker appears. They shoot Gary. Max, who was leading us into straightening out Gary's info and lack of info, continues to be confused himself, unapologetically saying, yikes! So Max, you gotta figure out your night on 2 levels. Baby with Annie, and get real Max. One of these are real killers. Tell him, Agent Henderson, Ron. Tell him, Captain Ron, about the pirates and gorillars. The Harveys know. And get real, Max. One of these are real killers. Tell him, Agent Henderson, Ron. Tell him, Captain Ron, about the pirates and the Harveys know. It's not Danny Houston. This must be the Bulgarian. He wants to know if he looks like an asshole. And he does. He's even posed with his arms above his navels as if to frame a circular stance of a man, too rich to know what's good. He's an asshole. Brooks is stepping forward. Max, I negotiated the list. Gary is on the ground kicked and shot in, like the shoulder. Brooks eats the list. If you give it to him, he's going to kill me. We are going to cut it out of you on the jet. Snaps or pig calamari. Our big calamari shoots the van tires and the patrol tires. No one is driving on these streets. Tay-Tay's boy toy says they are just going to leave him. Pig Vomit says no one follow us. Max turns off Dummy Max and is enabled Action Max. You know that closed private airport is nearby Brooks' house. Our cars are not there. Yeah, where is your car? Because we just took a van at one point from Max's house. Max does say yeah, as he shows the Stingray keys. We know it runs. Max and Annie get to the sports car for a ride or die to the jet. All from above, we see a jet pulling out as our hero couple races to save Max's brother. The soundtrack is much more pouncing, almost a theme from Crossfire. We are going through a synthwave, shoots and ladder up the intensity. Brooks and goons are aboard a private jet. Brooks offers to poop out the list. Brooks, taller than our uptight shitbox, but is not able to defend himself and get away. They stop to watch a cherry red Mean Street Machine. Brooks asks, is that my brother? The asshole thinks it's Kenny and say, get us in the air. Pilots are like, all right, loser. Max and the Stingray quickly maneuver around the airplane parking lot and have the tail of the plane. Lots of details are coming up, so hold tight. It's game night, and it's not over yet. Max offers a plan that Annie riding shotgun notes is the plan from Taken 3. I never saw it. Max wants to run into the plane using the car. He missed wheels or anything somehow, for some reason. Brooks, we're coming! Woo! Max knocks the plane's front wheel, sending the plane into a skid, possibly stopping. The pilots are slammed forward. We are following the car as it skids red into green grass. The car has stalled. Max is happy. He drove it for 10 minutes. Annie gets out of the car. Max is a car length behind her, and she has found Shield behind a luggage loader with a crate at its conveyor belt. If she could activate it, the crate would fall onto the goon that has tracked her down separately from where Max is near the Stingray. Max charades to Annie, turn on the belt. The belt makes noise and the goon sees this and steps away. Slow belt allows her the time to grab a fire extinguisher, which was red, and knocks the goon out. You are not Liam Neeson, but Max has the goon's gun. Annie's goes to call for help. Max is making his way to the private jet. The overhead door he drops down. and the boss throws a knife right into Max's bullet wound. Not getting the drop on the boss, Max and Brooks are wrestling. Annie is stopped outside of the private plane. The goon is no longer knocked out. Annie fakes pleading for her life. Please, I have kids at home. The goon gets his union card by saying, not with that ass you don't, JustinJustin. Woo! Hoo! Annie takes it as a compliment and is playing sharp defense. Max and Brooks pushes their mass into the plane's control panel, accelerating the plane's side engine. It sucks up Annie's goon. Gruesome, like mulch. Annie gives us a Home Alone, Kevin McAllister, Kirk Gibson arm pump. Yes! Oh no, he died. Classic. Max and Brooks are still fighting off the boss, which they've just been a mass of dudes wrestling, to take control of the two brothers are trying to get out of there versus this henchman and the villain. In the plane, Max has him by the bungee cord. The boss has a gun and turns to shoot, and a red fire extinguisher drops from the plane's overhead door, knocking this guy unconscious. It's Annie, and my goodness, RachelMcAdams looks stunning upside down, adding, how did you get the drop on someone? Liam Neeson 3, Annie 50. Brooks is cut loose. Max bungees the bad guy as if it's sexual, which is a dumbass joke. Is Annie okay? Yes. Is that a knife in your bullet hole? Yes. Annie's just saw a man die and is okay at the moment. Max brings up having a baby. I want to have a baby. God. Can we get a refill on bongo dogs here? Having kids is not only entertainment for two people, but it is also a kid competition, which is wildly off-center. But I do like these characters. I just omit some of the most skewered life planning moments since Armageddon. Brooks slow claps and says, that concludes my game night. Queen needle drop, act like you know. Brooks tries one last plot fooling twist and he's just fucking with us. 3 months later, in the overpriced, overbuilt brewery district or arena district that no one affords, we are re-zooming into, again, a Matchbox car-sized city scene. We are the champions as Max and Annie walk up to a house of Brooks's. The gang is here, Michelle and Kevin, Sarah and Ryan. Hey! Brooks is on house arrest, 36 months, so he's hosting game night. Max corners Brooks to check in on his ego and grab a beer. Max is drinking again. Brooks says he pooped the list out and sold it on the black market for $3 million. He says he charged the victims on the list $20,000 to tip them off of their danger. As soon as he's off house arrest, he's buying the house he rented and moving in with Joanna. Joanna then comes out of the bathroom behind him, and it's the fertility doctor from the beginning. Let me pause as I open up a few sodas, because what the hell. 100 grand of art school so that I could spot Joanna is wearing a top that has a tie collar, much like a netting or pattern on a Fabergé egg. As I told you before, the pattern and coloring play out through good movies, and we see Brooks has someone in his life of value. Gary is at a game night drawing pad, Bert and Lonnie's win-loser draw. Look it up. It looks like a drawing of crying. Annie goes up next. She draws what looks like the logo of a bread, casual fast food company logo, dinner roll, a bun. Is it a bun? She draws a box around the bun. Gary asks, is this a motion picture? Is this a motion picture? Max, bun in the oven? Wait, what? Annie's glowing. Yes. Love fills the screen. Quando. We zoom out through the apartment windows into a car window where dead presidents are loading guns and pulling a mask down. Bongo. Doggo Bastion was there at the end. And that's a game night. Bongo. Doggo. Bastion is seen walking downstairs. I would assume this is Gary's house, not Brooks's. And we can see a modest basement with a workspace, desk with research materials, and a large corkboard with red string lacing throughout. There is too much to make out what is being mapped out. I can imagine it was the night we just watched. Gary must have had some master plan or detailed organization of how to execute such a game night. There is a screen of recordings Gary did sliding over the hood of his patrol car. He purchased classic blood capsules, has written Frito-Lay about 3 for 1, and we also see he maps out intersections with Max and Annie. Is any of this reason for Deb to leave him? He has a voice changer with the button pushed for Monster, quoting Ryan's childish observation. And Red String heads up to a painted, modeled scene of their shootout with the game friends on the 4th Street Bridge. A model Gary is being tended to by model Annie and Max. A short stack of VHS is labeled Death Scene Inspiration. The titles are close to what you think is Gary's white toast taste for culture. Gary has IDs, photos of our character players, and Annie has a Yoga Palace ID, which is a fun detail because that is what people have. LOL, Ryan has a Harvard ID, Sarah has a passport, Kevin has a fast food bread member card, Gary somehow has the photo of Denzel and Michelle. Brooks's has a school photo most likely to succeed. Unfortunately, he has photos from public cafes of Deb having a beverage with someone, and notes on post-its about who she is seeing. Lots of stuff to see, and finally, Bastian and Gary in his uniform straighten his OG game night photo. Master plan. Reinstitution of myself in game night by Officer Gary Kingsbury. Fire this man immediately. No, really. If you have speculation thoughts on what we are seeing here at the end of the game night, please smash that voice message button. Actual credit given, Malcolm X Hughes as not Denzel. Last scene. Hi, my name is Kenny. People usually cut me off to say they know who I am. The camera turns. It's Deb. She smiles. Kenny smiles. Deb smiles. Somewhere in LA County, a stingray is hitting a junkyard. A TMCMS Episode 2, Corv Sum Awakes. Bongo, 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 bongo. Doggo, 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 doggo. Please be kind. Please rewind. Bongo, 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 bongo. Doggo, 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 doggo. Bongo, 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 bongo. Doggo, 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 doggo.